Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
That's why you don't go home with someone when you first meet them. Because as a guy, he's just thinking
I'm
that's
not
just...
suing him for being disrespectful. I'm suing him because he burned down my house.
The whole purpose behind law is to right wrong. I want justice to be something that isn't this foreign concept.
Justice knows no boundaries. The truth will be heard. Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Crystal Patel is suing Chris Wilson in the amount of $1,446.94. She says the defendant knocked over a candle in her apartment and started a fire.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Very good, Deputy Thomas. Ms. Patel, there was an incident at your apartment. There was some damage, and you want Mr. Wilson to pay for it.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, prove your case.
Few months back, I was out with my friends in one of the Hollywood's club. I was just having a good time and talking to my friends, and saw Chris. Look at him. He looks good. So he asked me for a dance. Shana, my friend, she told that once she hooked up with him, and he's not like what he seems to be. He's not that nice at all.
That Shana said she hooked up with him, meaning that they went out, they had sex.
They had sex.
And okay.
Yeah. That's what she meant.
What I thought you meant. All right.
Okay.
And this is a friend of yours.
Yeah, my friend.
And you're okay with then having interaction with him in that way?
I didn't plan for it, but look at him, he looked tall, dark, and handsome, so I just wanted to know him more.
He's like, it is what it is. Don't hate, huh?
Yeah, you know.
All right, Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome, what happened here?
Basically, from the club to her apartment, the only reason I was honestly there was because, you can't see it now, but she had double D's when I saw her.
Really?
And
that's
she had
what you're
double
say that.
D's, as in the breast size
were way
very
larger.
Large.
Yeah,
and clearly, you are not someone...
He is a man-child. You need to know about him.
He's a man-child.
Yes, he is.
Now, see, I like to call it a man-baby. A maybe.
Yes, that's true.
Is that what he is?
Yes, he is.
Why do you say that?
So, as I was telling you about, so I just went with just the benefit of doubt to dance with him. So, we had some chemistry. We started talking, drinking.
He mentioned something about your décolletage, if you will. He's saying that what I'm seeing now is not what he saw. Was there something that's different about your appearance before me that he saw?
No, if you see the pictures, it's not that different. I had my
a B to a D. It's not that different.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
Did you do something different as it relates to your breast size?
Socks, yes.
What?
Socks.
So I
Socks
had
were in
my
there.
bras padded, and
shirt.
it's very
So
common.
you wore a bra
but
with socks
I didn't
padded.
intend them to be two Ds or
I can only
something.
hear one person at a time. So, all right, and we're talking about this issue, so I want to make sure I'm clear. All right.
Yes.
You had a padded bra.
Yeah, but I don't know what he was expecting out of me, because it didn't seem to be what he's saying. I don't know what he was expecting. I don't think he was in the right state of mind.
I mean, Your Honor, man to man, I know.
Man to man?
No, like, you keep me out of this. I am nowhere near this. So what I'm trying to understand
You're not that
is,
shallow as he is.
so you gave yourself the appearance of looking fuller. Is that fair?
Not fuller, but it was just looking nice. But I won't say what he's saying.
All right. So when the two of you meet at the club, even though you know that he has already hooked up with this Shana person, Shana. And so what happens? You see her, you're interested.
Yes.
You buy her a cocktail or something? Or?
No, we were dancing,
You're dancing at the club, okay.
Yeah, we were dancing, we started off with just a slight little dance, and then we started kissing a little bit.
And then he was behaving really nice. He was being very gentleman,
So how do we
sweet.
go from the two of you being at the club to this damage that you suffered?
So let me explain you what happened. So we started dancing, then things got some out of control. So I invited him over to my house.
Oh, well, that's the way to stop things from being out of control. Come on over to my house.
Yeah, so it was just a hookup.
You know, man to man, you know?
Yeah,
Boss, why don't you understand the concept?
Yeah,
okay, I
that
understand.
was just a hookup. That's
Okay.
what it was.
All right.
So, anyways, he seemed like a nice guy. So I invited him over. He said yes. And he was, you know, he was all night, he was just going about how much money he makes, how much workout he does, and blah, 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 too many things. What happened was, when I just went into his car, it was like some cheap old, I don't even remember which year it was built in, not from this century, I felt. He was saying that he has too much of money or the six-packs. He was not having any of that.
I heard something about a six-pack. Are you referring to his stomach, saying he had a six-pack?
No, he didn't. He was just talking about it.
He was telling you.
And he just had a big bare belly. There was nothing else there.
Coming up on America's Court.
That's why you don't go home with someone when you first meet him.
Because
as a guy, he's just thinking
I'm
that's
not
just.
suing him for being disrespectful. I'm suing him because he burned down my house.
And later.
So he scared you.
He scared me pretty bad, yeah.
Do you get that?
Most people know me as very friendly.
Do you get that she would be scared?
Closed captioning provided by America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Crystal Patel, who is suing Chris Wilson for property damage.
We got back to her place. She poured me something to drink, you know. We sat
I lit
down.
up some candles. I gave him some wine. And the things led one to another.
I don't remember the candles. I don't remember any of that.
Oh, really?
I
You
just
didn't remember?
Well, let me
That's
hear
what
him.
you're saying.
I just remember.
Ms. Patel, let me hear him.
I just remember when she took off her shirt and her brassiere. I saw the socks fall out, and I just couldn't do it. Like, it's one thing, you know, to be at the club, and then I come all the way to your house, and I'm down for it all. Like, you know what I mean? She was more upfront with me, and I respected that. But when the socks fall out of your bra, it's like, what do I do? So I kind of got upset, picked up my stuff, and I left. I'm not gonna stay.
Left?
That was false advertisement. I
Can
ran
I
out of
say
there. Like, I don't
something?
want to be here. I don't know what else is gonna fall out. I don't know. I don't want to be here
What do you
when
mean you
it
don't
comes.
know what else is going to fall out?
I didn't know socks were going to fall out in the first place. I'm a breast man, Your Honor. Like, everyone loves breasts. It's like apple pie. I mean,
Wow.
Can I say something?
Wow.
Can I please say something?
When do socks fall out of your
He
bra?
is really insane. Let me hear. Once.
You didn't answer that question.
What?
Do socks fall
No,
out?
I just had a padded bra. He's just
Did
making
something
things.
fall out of the bra?
It was a padded bra.
it wasn't her
That's-
breast that fell out.
All right.
Most definitely.
I don't know
And
what you
so
were
he
expecting
leaves,
there.
Why
but
are we
Bigger
here?
breast. That's what I was expecting.
Okay, I get it. You're a breast man. I get it.
All right.
but
sorry.
you know, Your Honor, what he was saying, that six packs and everything, he didn't
I
seem
get
to
the
be.
six-pack,
So
I get the
didn't
old
react
car.
to him like a man-child that he ran out of my house. He stormed out like he has seen a ghost or an alien. He just ran off. So I am pretty sure that while he was running away from my apartment, he knocked over one of the tables that had the candles.
Why do you say you were pretty sure?
Because
Why aren't you 100% sure?
Because I didn't see, but he was the only one who was running from my house. So that is like 95% sure.
Okay.
I was the only one who ran.
I want her to keep talking now.
Then
so
I-
now he's out of the house.
Yes, so I went behind him because honestly, first, I didn't understand what happened to him. So I just went behind him to know what happened
Yes.
because it was kind of confused.
I get it.
So I spoke to him and he started like accusing me using bad words. So
What was he accusing you of?
He was accusing me of like a false pretense, and I was like, what you were expecting
What do you
me
mean
of?
when you say false pretense?
The same thing he's being like
fake
talking
breast.
right now. The breast that he was
So
just.
he was saying.
He was such a shallow man and such disrespectful to a female that.
Hold
his-
on a moment. That's why you don't go home with someone when you first meet him. Because as a guy, he's just thinking
I'm
that's
not
just.
suing him for being disrespectful. I'm suing him because he burned down my house. Okay, you don't want to hook up. I understand that. But you need to take responsibilities for your actions. You burned down my
And
house.
how did he burn down your house?
Because when he rushed out of my house, and when I had the discussion in the hallway when I back to my apartment, I could smell smoke. And when I looked around, I saw that my couch, which was just next to the table, it was burned down. The wall was burned. So, and he needs to.
What caused the fire?
The candles which he knocked over while he was running off.
And so you don't think you're responsible for that?
No.
Did you knock over a table with candles burning?
I don't recall.
You don't recall?
No.
All right. So if she recalls, you're not disputing that. You said, I don't recall. So that means you're not sure. Yes?
Yes.
Got it. The 144694, is that the proof of the damage
Yes,
to the sofa?
I have the evidence.
I'll see that. And is there anything else? Mr. Wilson? The leather couch, that was 544.85.
Yes.
And this is for the
wall.
The wall, the drywall, the new paint, 90209. Anything else, sir? No. All right. Based on the evidence and testimony before this court, the gavel is going to come down in favor of the plaintiff. Because you did probably cause that accident. And it doesn't have to be 100% certain. All I need is a preponderance of the evidence. And if she can establish that she lit candles, she's not necessarily going to burn up her own place. And if it happened pursuant to the time that you walked off, you caused injury. So maybe the universe is saying, maybe I need to reevaluate how I'm handling myself in this situation. Unless you're just okay with hooking up, as long as you're prepared to pay the consequences. So you will pay them. That is your judgment. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $1,446.94.
I'm really happy that I got my money for the damages, and I don't regret hooking up with him.
If she wasn't a fraud, none of this would have ever happened.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
So he scared you?
He scared me pretty bad, yeah.
Do you get that?
Most people know me as very friendly.
Do you get that she would be scared?
Closed captioning provided by This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Jerry Floyd is suing Miriam Masters in the amount of $5,300. He says while trying to give the defendant a handwritten poem, his shoulder was dislocated when she sped away with his arm still in her car.
We're dealing with an issue that you're struggling with, which is being homeless.
Yes, Your Honor.
Talk to me about that, sir.
That's correct. 10 years ago, I became addicted to crack. I'm from a very good family. I had a very good career. We had really long hours, and I was always working at the firm. And sometimes a lot of the other coworkers were smoking crack, and that's just where it started.
Got caught up.
I caught up. I couldn't say no. I couldn't even do the job anymore, and I've already lost everything. So now I'm selling poetry. I'm on in Skid Row. And I can no longer write poetry.
How long have you been on Skid Row, sir?
For the last 10 years. But what I do is I sell poems for money, and I can't make any money and sell poems.
What's wrong with your arm?
Because Miss Miriam drove away so quickly, and I know she volunteers. I understand she's at the shelter volunteer, but her car is her responsibility.
Oh, Your Honor.
You broke your arm, and that injury was a result of the interaction you had with Miss Masters.
Yes, Your Honor. I was just trying to
let's talk about that interaction.
Yeah, that interaction, Your Honor, began when he reached into my car to get my purse. Just so you'll know, and it's important to me that you do know, I have no problem with the homeless. I have volunteered for a decade at the shelter he occasionally drops in on.
You've seen him before?
I've heard them.
Yes.
They always make comments.
I have seen him before.
Had you seen her before?
Yes, we do know each other. I'm occasionally.
Okay, so you know who he was?
I didn't know who the arm was connected to when it reached into my car. I knew once I was...
What time of day was this?
It was 9 o'clock at night after I left the shelter.
You're by yourself?
I was by myself, and I'll admit that
you were at the shelter and then leaving the shelter to go home?
Yes.
And you get in your car?
Got in my car, and I'll admit that the window was down. It's an old VW Beetle. It's hard to raise it. I'd just been talking to someone. I was at a stoplight, and an arm reaches in and grabs for my purse.
Just to show a poem.
Coming up on America's Court.
So he scared you?
He scared me pretty bad, yeah.
Do you get that?
Most people know me as very friendly.
Do you get that she would be scared?
Closed captioning provided by This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Jerry Floyd, who is suing Miriam Masters for personal injury.
You were at a stop sign, a stoplight?
A stoplight, Yeah, as soon
Was
as
the
it
light
turned
still
green.
red?
It was red, and luckily, the minute he reached in, it turned green. I sped away, and the purse strap actually broke. His trying to pull it out the window made the strap break, and I have evidence of that if you would like to see it.
Please. Well, if you knew Miss Masters, did you introduce yourself? Hey, Miss Masters, it's me, Jerry, or whatever?
It's common where we live in the Skid Row, where everybody's trying to make art, trying to get a little extra money. And it may have been an accident because my arm was in there, and I was trying to get the poem, and she was speeding off with my poem.
You showed me this picture of the strap. And what benefit do I get from looking at this?
Where the hand is where the strap was broken.
Okay.
By his trying to pull it out the window.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right. So he scared you.
He scared me pretty bad, yeah.
Do you get that?
Most people know me as very friendly. I talk.
Do you get that she would be scared? And not to make any sort of sexist remark, but if I'm a woman downtown by myself at night and some arm comes in, it's reasonable for me to conclude that that woman would be in fear of her safety. Is that a fair statement?
It may have been a mistake, but I think I don't think she had the correct reaction.
Why not tap on the, hi, it's me, do you want some poetry? Why just reach in?
I could recognize her, and she seemed maybe she'd have an interest in buying a poem. I was trying to sell a poem.
So what did you say to her?
I just asked her, would you please look at the poem? Here, I tried to hand her the poem.
No.
And
I didn't see a poem, Your Honor. No poems. No poems, just hands coming into the VW.
There's a poem.
All right.
Oh, well, make a note of it. But no, there was
no poem.
No poem.
Nothing in his hand.
Nothing that I could see. I mean, if there was some trash there that, I didn't notice anything but the arm. I wasn't thinking as clearly as I should have been, perhaps.
But you were scared.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel has to come down in favor of the defendant, sir. Because the standard of proof in these matters is based on a reasonable person standard. So what I have to look at is, what would the average person do in that situation? And their instinct would say to them, get out of there, because something's getting ready to happen to you. Now, had her behavior been extreme or outrageous or unusual, then it would be a different story. I'm glad to hear you're trying to get better with your recovery. And take advantage of the resources that are available to you, sir.
Oh.
Your matter's dismissed. Oh. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
I don't agree with the judge's decision, and I'll just keep selling my poems on Skid Row.
I'm very happy with the judge's decision, and I will continue volunteering on Skid Row.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.